And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Raising Kanan Season 3 review brought to you by Big Go Belt with our special guest who's family, but a guest. Well, she got free access to the fridge at this point. We ain't telling her what nothing is in the house no more. Keemie, what's going on this evening?
What's going on, family? It's good to see you guys again.
It is good
Hey,
to
my
have
guy,
you
what is going
here.
on? It's been a while. We
It
haven't
has been a while. It
we haven't done a
has.
review in a month.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
behind the scenes stuff, people. All of us, all three
Yeah.
of us, we kind of did this for a while. This is our first review catching back up in a minute since our extravaganza in New York with Raising Kanan.
Oh yeah, did you guys all tell them that we all met each other in person?
No.
Yeah,
this
we
is our
haven't
first
been able to
review
catch up
since-
on anything. Yeah, we
Yeah.
had
this is our
loaded up
first
in the
review
can.
since.
So yeah, it's a good time.
Hang out
Yeah,
and chill.
yeah, we met the cast. All the typical you stuff that we do. Minus me being really drunk. I behaved myself this time.
You were I didn't know.
There's been other nights that the nights were very different. Yes, we got to meet you. And it was just a good time, man. It's no other way to put it. It was a really, really, really good time. To give a little bit of transparency to the event. I know we were saying we were going to cover the red carpet, and they notified us probably like a couple of hours beforehand that the red carpet is going to be super limited, and it was small. But it's okay. We obviously got the virtual interviews there available for you all. We got to talk to all the cast members that was there. We still got other things coming down the pipeline. I can also speak for Keemie as well that she also has a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. So if y'all looking for like the best power content, look no other between two of our outlets. We got a lot of stuff going, but the party was good. It was good to be in the building. It was good to see everybody. Very good energy. Good. They had a I was about to say they had a jukebox.
They had a
there at a cipher. That was interesting, shall I say. I had questions about it, but I'd say my biggest takeaway, and I said this on Keemie's show. She invited me on for episode 3, that it was really cool seeing the cast members react to their scenes, and also things that I think us who kind of watches the show through a lens of reviewing and recapping and wanting to get these details for you, see the audience who watches this in like pure enjoyment really react to things completely different than how we reacted to things. Like I think the thing that jumped out to me the most is that everybody pretty much booed Unique interacting with baby mom and cheered scenes later when he goes to see Rock, which to me is just like, listen, like my man definitely out here, breaking up his home. Definitely not a cool thing. And everybody's like, nah, don't do that. It's like, wait, what? It's like, so it seems like people love the shenanigans on the show and they just go full tilt with it. But it was just stuff like that. And I think Antonio, which I know you can do, my man was litty lit. And
he had a time.
Yes, he did.
He had a time before he got there.
Yeah. So yeah, but I don't know. We'll probably just have a show just to talk about that in its entirety. It was a fun night for sure. So thank you for the good folks at Stars and having the three of us there. From the food, the pit, the photo ops, the venue was pretty dope as well too. The drinks, all of it was put together pretty cool.
Yeah,
I hate taking pictures, but I got to meet Mario Van Peebles, so I was done.
Yes, me too.
That's all I cared about.
Take any pictures. I was too in the moment to remember to take any pictures. But did we speak about this when we did the review on Chronicles of Power, where when I said that I met Ronnie, or the actor who plays Ronnie, Grantham Coleman?
I don't know if you said it on the record or not, but I know you talked about it. But I don't know if you said it on the show.
Yeah. So for the people who are wondering how Ronnie or Grantham Coleman is in real life, he is just as intense. He may not look as scary, but when I was speaking to him, like I definitely kept my words very, very limited. Like after a while, I was just like, "Okay, nice to meet you." He's super person, but very, very stone faced. He didn't he wasn't laughy and jokey and none of that. I was just like, all right, nice to meet you. I'm gonna keep it moving. let me go over there.
And you know what it is? I think it's got to be because it's got to be the jitters of being there for him. Because even if you look at like Makai season 1 at the premiere, he was very just kind of off to the side, kind of not really giving too much personality. I can even say the same for Patina last year. Patina was very by the book last year. Patina was having a lot of fun this year. Mm-hmm. So it could have just been the jitters. I mean, you had the top stars, execs there. They're definitely right there. And then there still is a level of like celebrity to all the other random folks that's in there too. But yeah, Grantham was looking sharp. And by all means, he should have been having all the fun. Because he was out that joint shining with that burgundy.
His waist is snatched, honey. Okay, his waist is like
I did know.
What's it going to go there?
Disappear. Like, yes, honey.
Yeah. What about you, Lucas? Like, we didn't really talk too much about like what was like. I mean, you mentioned Marvin Peebles, but like, what else was some of your highlights or just moments for the night?
I can't mention one because I don't know her name, but she was a rapper and she was a very voluptuous record exec / rapper who we met when we was taking pictures. She made my entire night.
Okay.
No, she didn't even say anything.
Yeah, I can tell you. She had on black. She was like one of the last people in the photo booth at the night. And I don't think this has anything to do with the show. I don't think it has anything.
She needs a role. She needs a role. She needs to do something. Okay? I'm okay with it. She needs to do something.
Oh, God.
And Wendell Pierce, who I got to meet.
Oh, yeah. I got
and speak to briefly. He
was
cool, too. Him and his wife, yeah.
And
even our intoxicated walk home, and him and his wife was behind us. It was communicating. That was fun too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, who is?
Wendell Pierce.
Oh, Wendell. Yeah, Wendell Pierce. Oh, they wasn't. We were. Me and
remember we was in front of them. So like,
yeah. They were walking with us, and boy, I was intoxicated, but I was having a conversation.
Yeah.
So when I do events, whenever I go to events, especially if I'm like traveling alone, I don't drink. Mm-hmm. So I only have water throughout the night. So it's so funny to be around people who are drinking and you're sober. You just see the world clearer at that point.
Also, I mean, but we travel as a pack, so you know, I feel even to the point where I can get drunk. I know I'm around responsible folks that's going to get some. But you know now, because you was gang, so you already know. As I made sure that, that's it. You're around the right company and whatnot. At the end of the day, we're still in New York or LA or wherever it's going to be. Mm-hmm. We got to make sure we get our heads back on our pillows by the end of the night.
There you go.
That's right.
There you go. Most important part.
So
and walking, a lot of walking. Listen, I'm from DC. We don't walk that much.
Yeah. We were really close this year, though.
Y'all crazy. But let's get into this episode. Episode 4, In Sheep's Clothing. This one is directed by Monty DeGraff, who, let's say, Soul Food. He's been the editor, producer, done multiple episodes this season, done multiple episodes last season. So just understand what you're getting into with this episode, especially when he comes on to direct something. And it's also written by someone whose name is as festive as humanly possible, and that is Santa Sierra. Yes, I said that right. Santa Sierra, who also wrote this episode. But jump directly into it, as for the first time ever, an episode of Power starts off without a main character being involved. Mm-hmm. As the episode opens up, as we see one of the carrier boys being chased by police. I'm just going to ask this question. Did you all expect to see a turn in Kanan's business like this fast in the season? That they would pick up on exactly what they were doing?
Yes.
Start with you first, Keemie.
Yes. Yes. Once I saw him handing out instructions on the stoop, I was like, right, guys, just put a letter right on your forehead and be like, hey guys, we are selling weed. right in our backpacks because he's outside doing it. And I was like, well, this is only going to be a matter of time before they get caught up. In addition to that, I don't know if Kanan is necessarily, especially at this age, he's not really on stealth mode.
Yeah.
I don't think he's mastered that part of the game yet. I mean, it was a good idea to have the couriers transport the orders. I think that's a great idea. But I think that handing them out on the stoop, I think that was, he didn't think that all the way through. So yes, I thought that they were going to get caught up. And plus, they kind of like gave it away in the trailer because we see pieces of the chase in the trailer.
Yeah.
And they always give stuff up in the trailer. Like the same thing that, I don't know if you guys follow my show or not, or for the people who do.
Don't come at us with that energy. We do. Okay.
No, I'm just saying, like, because someone said something to me like last week, and it was like, I think part of the reason why you're not getting everybody on your show is because you keep blowing stuff up. And I'm like, it's not me. I don't put it in the trailer. So I'll give you a quick story, right? I'll tell you this. I had Berto Colon on my show. He plays Poppy. He plays
That's our guy.
Lorenzo Tejada on Power Book 2 Ghosts. And he was on my show, and I was like, why does Kane have on your chain in the trailer?
That was a good question. I remember that.
And he stumbled in the interview. He was like, he had on my chain. How did you see? Like, he goes like, he was like, you saw? How did you see that? And I was like, it was in the trailer. And he was like, well, it's out there. And I was like,
exactly.
Oh, yeah, it's like, well,
yeah.
I said, well, what happened? He's like, maybe it dropped. And I was like, your chain ain't fucking dropped. But we ended up, granted, Stars didn't kill me. And, we were still newer at the time. But he after the interview, he was just like, that's so crazy how you pay attention to this stuff. Like, I wouldn't even thought to think of that. And I was like, yeah, like, you have a pretty prominent chain on in the show, and Kane has it on, and they're all dressed in black. Like, I can understand, like, you know how everything is like, when you say totality of the circumstance, it's not one event, it's not two events, but all of them together is what make you put it, piece it together. And same thing with Kanan. I'm just gonna bring it back. Like, okay, I saw that he started the courier system. I saw in the trailer that one of the people on a bike is being chased. Yes, I knew that they were gonna get caught.
Yeah.
Sorry. I know.
No, I mean, I don't think there's, I mean, and beyond us, there's everybody online is really the source of their content is looking for these little clues, Easter eggs. I mean, and that's, I mean, I don't want to get too much off the topic here, but everybody's already theorizing very, should we say, intentional Easter eggs thus far in this season, where folks was like, oh, you walk past that one building, it says Tommy. And then people talk about the Breeze reference. So they was like, Breeze going to be in this season. So like, listen, it's part of the community. People like to, come up with their theories. Shout out to somebody in the DMs right now. Got this whole elaborate think piece. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call it a thesis. I'm gonna upgrade it a little bit here about why Ghost is alive, and that's fine. I'm
not doing that with y'all. I'm not.
Listen.
I'm not doing it.
Listen.
Like, anytime people hit me with that, I delete. Like, no, I'm not doing it. I understand that y'all love Amari. I do too, right? The character Ghost. Well, hated Ghost, but his portrayal as Ghost was right.
They're never gonna let this go.
He's gone. It's over. Like, the creator of the show told y'all that he is dead. Okay,
and it's never going to.
Well, hold up. They got both y'all here for a second though. Ghost is still alive.
Who?
In Raising Kanan.
Well, yes.
You're right.
That's the only Ghost you're gonna see. He's alive in Raising Kanan.
We'll give him that.
It's definitely not Amari.
And I just want to keep reiterating that Sasha Penn has a show that we know the finish line. why would you rush to the finish line when the dollars keep rushing in? You don't
Thank
need
you.
to tap these characters. And then the moment you introduce Ghost and Tommy, you take away
know
from
where
the
it's going
likes
to.
of Marvin and Lulu and Juke potentially, and even Famous is a character that still has a lot more story that's going to be told, and that's going to be definitely beneficial to Kanan's whatever Kanan's path is going to be in this story. So
Yeah.
I'm not hell bent on seeing these characters be involved that we've heard in the original Pirates. I'm not hell bent on that. I'm focusing on that. If y'all got the theories, then by all means do so. And when it happens, but I'm not hell bent on it. With that being said, to the point of that scene being in there pretty early, much like Keemie said, Kanan could come up with all these elaborate plans, but he's not stealth at all. It was only a matter of time. When I say a matter of time, it was only till this episode, one episode away, till we start to see that he ain't as smart as he think he is. And even if he is, we know how the game is. These other folks also don't understand the situation that they're in. They think it's just another carrier job. I just do it the same, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we've seen this on corner board level. We've seen this with folks trying to cross the borders, trying to cross through TSA when that was guidance, all these different carrier ways where folks think, oh, it's no problem. I do this all the time, only to find out like, it ain't just as smooth as you think. The feds a lot watching. And also to reiterate what Rock's been saying now for the last few episodes, and even the Italians, is that it's hot right now. The feds is watching everything on every level. So whether you are in the mafia or whether you are some Joe Small in the corner, the feds got their eyes peeled for any strange activity. So it only made sense that we saw that scene open up, letting you know that no one's exempt from all the shenanigans that's happening right now.
Hey, that's a good way to put it. No one is exempt from the shenanigans. As in the following scene, we see Rock as she is buying herself. At first, I thought it was a salon plaza. Is it a mini mall? I don't know what Rock is buying because at first it started out as a salon, but we see her as she's securing her new property. I'm going to jump into her next evolving scene because it's kind of right after this. It's a little scene between the two, and that is when we get two cops attempting to shake down Rock for them to protect her. What did you think about, one, the transition of her buying this property, understanding by the end of the last episode, we did understand the feds are closely watching her and monitoring everything she's doing. And then we get this scene with her buying it, and then the following scene with her of them attempting to shake her down for safety. So we notice these are two cops that know absolutely nothing the person they're dealing with here. But what do you think about the way they're playing this setup of Rock trying to be clean, and we see the criminal element still managing to find her?
Ain't that? It's like, isn't that serendipity in a way? Like the criminal still following her, even though like she's trying. Like God, like I feel for her, right? She's really trying. She's like, listen, I lost my son. I don't have close relationships with people, and even the people that I do have close relationships with, namely Unique, they're not the best to be around me, which is what, I mean, I'm not going to jump ahead, but you know, we see that she is still contemplating that later on, right? She wants to have a clean life because she's being forced to do so. Like, hey, I just got my niece's not my niece's mother killed. In the crossfire of my own mess. My little brother doesn't talk to me, and my son is not really talking to me. My boyfriend, who was a really good candidate to be even my husband, has left and gone to North Carolina, and I'm literally on an island by myself. I need to get away from the things that have made this happen, and now I find my little mini plaza, my little mall, and then I have two corrupt cops following me here, even though I'm trying to do the right thing. That may seem okay on the surface, right? And I was initially, I was like, okay, well, how is she going to deal with this? Because I know Rock, right? But they don't know Rock.
Exactly.
But I think that's something that kind of confused me. in the scene, because I think when they spoke to her, right? Did they mention to her about doing their research on her? And
They did say that, yeah, we did, because they bring up her son, but they don't even know
they say
fully
about
who her
him
son
playing
is.
football, right?
Yeah,
So, like,
clearly tells you they don't know who he is.
right. So I'm like, what type of research did they do if they didn't know that Shorty's arm was in a sling last week? That the Italian mob shot her out, right?
Well,
No. They shot up Shorty's house. Like they guns are blazing. People
Yeah.
died there. And she had to get cut. So I know that there's no I think one of the some of the feedback between even in real life about the police department is just the lines of communication, like how no one shares information with one another. So
well,
I'm guessing that that's what it is. Like they just, maybe they don't have access to what's happening with her. But
it's
if they
a little bit
fun, they should have been able to see that stuff. No?
It's a little bit of both to me here. I mean, one, we know the task force is here, and they can call it whatever they want, but those folks don't play nice with each other. But beyond that, and beyond the evidence of that, the lack of evidence of that right now that we know, it's still the utmost racism. She's a black woman that's doing something, and they're just like, well. And then again, I you got to keep it 100. And even America built on rape culture, they could be racist all they want, but they still look at her as an attractive woman that's doing
The
something.
sexualization of black women and how, yes. So I feared for her in that moment. Like honestly, that's the first thing that went to mind.
Yeah.
By herself, where are her brothers? And one of her brothers is not speaking to her. And Marvin is trying to be the glue, kind of, between everybody, even though it's hard for him because he's still trying to plant his own flag in a way. And we see that that's not going to end too well for him. But I feel bad because I'm like, where's her protection? Remember she had security all along.
Yeah, but she got. I mean, I think she's kind of just like she's trying to remove the stink that's going to continue to follow her, and that aesthetic of having security definitely looks a certain type of way. Her buying this, as we know, she made a purchase in cash. That's definitely going to have some folks talking. It's got a Negro woman paid straight cash. They tried to talk about financing. I won't be needing that. It's like, nah, straight ducats here, and that's how it is. I go from one white person mouth to the next person ear, and they're all connected. That's how they continue to stay wealthy. So I think it's a measure of 10% doing their job, 60% racism. I don't know, the 30 or the rest of 30, 40. Yeah, 30% of it is the idea of extreme curiosity that there's a black woman that's attractive that I'm going to pat down, shake down to see how far we can get with it. See if we can strike some fear into her until they decide which path they want to go. And then you're right, Keemie, any other show, this can go two different ways. This can get extremely ugly, or it stays where this show is at, where it's like the feds are watching right now as a black woman's making moves inside of the city.
Yeah, it kind of worked two ways here. The first thing I thought when they were trying to get this information, or say, we have information on you, and maybe if your son wants to play football, the first thing I thought was, okay, the feds have closed off the information. Whatever they're spying on her, whatever they need no one to know about her, that's their information. They're not going to share that with anybody. That is nobody's business, because they've taken over the complete investigation of everything. So that means a normal street cop can't go into there and start asking those questions without drawing too much attention. But basic information of going around the neighborhood, of course, she has a son. We know that much. But you should have been able to know who her son was related to. That's information they should have easily gotten. DEF CON is information that any cop there should be able to get. so you know exactly who he is. But it seems like this is just two lazy cops who are accustomed to shaking people down in that neighborhood, and they don't care who it is. They cared enough to get just a minuscule amount of information to make her feel threatened.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But this is comes a situation where if you don't know the person that you're dealing with and you're attempting to shake them down, you've put yourself in a crossfire. And Rock Corleone, that I'm gonna call her this episode, because like Michael said his best when he said, every time I try to get out, they pull me back in. That's what they're trying to do here with Rock. And she is trying her best to stay clean. But as Keemie said, it's serendipity. This element is following her everywhere she goes. And it could be a metaphor for her of noticing you want to get out the streets, but you don't understand the world is just as crooked as the streets that you were a part of. So you're always going to be in the game, whether you work a 9 to 5, whether you flip burgers at McDonald's, whether you sell crack in the streets, or whether you run a project. The game is the game no matter what you do. And maybe that realization that they're trying to form us for Rock to get to understand, like, oh, nothing's going to change. Like, I'm always going to have to be this way no matter what I do. But who am I just to speak on that? I can't tell you why I'm thinking that, because y'all ask way too many questions for me to answer that question. But let's go to a very quick scene between Kanan. Lulu, to me, is not much to talk about here, as he gets his uncle Lulu to help him get a courier boy out of prison, because clearly this is the 90s, but all you got to do is say you somebody's uncle and you can get them out.
This is facts. I love this scene. This is facts. Yeah. Hey, bro.
Like, somebody in their 20s would be so confused and be like, wait a minute, you can't do that. Yes, you could back then. It's all you needed. It's all you needed. Any adult could get you out of prison. All you gotta do is kind of be related to you.
To be fair, right? It's not prison. And
I'm in jail. Lock up.
They were just in a holding cell.
Holding, yeah.
Right? He was just holding, because he didn't even make it to Rikers. He was just in a holding cell in the precinct. So it's like a very petty crime at this point. But I do kind of question that, right? Because by 91, okay, so first, I have been going back and forth with people about this for, I don't even know how long. I think I had a huge argument. Well, not that big, but going back and forth in comments with a guy last year or earlier this year about when we are in the story, right?
Yeah, we know the exact year.
What year are we in?
93.
No, we're not.
We're in 96, I want to say.
What?
No,
1991.
Oh, it is 91. You're right. It's 91.
91?
It's 1,000% 91. Yeah.
What the hell am I? Hold
I'm
up.
watching another show that's in 93. It's 91. First thing I thought was 91. Yes. Yeah, Sasha said it. Sasha said it in our interview. So it's definitely 91. Yeah.
You know what?
I'm watching For All Mankind. That's taking place.
No.
Right.
Literally, you know what fucked up my time frame?
What?
Ash rules everything around me. That's playing in my head, and I'm like, okay.
Right. So
it's the musical selection that's throwing me off.
So that's another point. You know what? I don't want us to get too off track with this. So I'm gonna stop. I'll stop. You go ahead with the scene, because we're about to talk about this after, because I argue with people online about when we are in the story every single day. Even right now, if you go look under my post, I just did a recap with DNA, the battle rapper DNA, who does the weekly
dope shit.
Recap,
yeah,
right?
Dope shit.
He put that we're in 1992, and I'm like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
And then somebody else is arguing with me, saying that we're in late 1992. I'm like, guys, please.
It's 91. Sasha said it in our interview, so I know it's.
You know what's throwing people off the most, and this is something that I also noticed.
What?
Kanan shoes is throwing me off. I know those shoe release dates, and a lot of those shoes release dates. If this is 91, that ain't when them Jones dropped.
So the North Face jacket that they wore in season 2, that was not out yet. The polo jacket, because my had that polo jacket, that did not come out in 1991. So, and I'm a huge polo, like I'm not a full low, like I'm a low head, but not like to that extent at that time. So I know when stuff came out, and that shit
Mhm.
did not come out at that time.
Eh,
But
if
not 92, because some of that stuff was like 94, 95, but it still looks like the era. It still looks like the
It's
aesthetic.
the era. That's what they.
It's the
Yeah.
era.
it,
But
yeah,
I say all of that
it,
to say, when you went through lockup at that time, I wonder if because of who the president was prior to that and all of the sanctions that they imposed on weed, crack, and different levels of drugs in that time, would he have still only been in lockup at that time? And would they not have moved him to Rikers quicker than that? But that's my only like little gripe with that. And then
It'd possibly been depending on how much he had on him,
yeah,
and if, in all honesty, if he had anything on him.
but
They
he
chased him down because they thought that he was selling something.
right, and he did. He got found with weed. That's what Kanan said.
But then again, how much did he get found with? Even back in the 90s? Let me say this: I didn't grow up in New York, so I don't know
Okay.
y'all was there. But being in DC in the early 90s, no, I could get anybody. I just need to make. If any adult that could come get me, they could come get me. It's not going to be many.
and
They're gonna be-
let's not forget about the eras of when uncles were coming in and rescuing folks from their mom and or whatever it may be. Like
Oh, no, I'm just saying that
that's
because
just
my
across the
uncles
board
didn't-
valid.
My uncles didn't come and get me out of certain situations. I had other adults. I wasn't crazy.
Well, either way, just the volunteer
Hell,
folks. that
older
comes in.
cousins. Hey,
There
man! I
we
need
go.
you to come down here.
Not my uncle.
'Cause-
Mhm.
He's gonna tell my mom, but
Mhm.
There you go. Right?
I wish folks would stop being so also hell bent on dates. I just feel like
It's
the
hard.
fans take so
it.
much time trying to figure out ages,
they try to figure
From
it out, and they
dates,
still
timelines, and it just be wrong. It's not going to make or break the show if you watch it not knowing the dates. I mean, listen, we break these things
We in the
down.
90s. That's all you need to know.
That's it.
The dress code is the 90s. They're
that's
not
it.
gonna give you like, what did y'all wear in 91? Ain't nobody got on hammer pants. I ain't seen a single person with hammer pants on. And back in DC, I know for sure cross colors, hammer
Yeah.
pants was still
Well,
in
no,
the
so-
early 90s.
Yeah.
What's his name? Famous has worn cross colors. I have seen Famous in cross colors.
Mhm.
There are some style aspects that I cannot wait to talk to Sage about. Sage
Yeah.
is the costume
Yeah.
for the show.
Got to talk to her in the beginning of the season too.
So,
Yeah, she's
I
dope.
didn't get to see her at the premiere, and she told me she was there, but I
Mhm.
didn't get a chance to meet her. I probably would have talked her ear off all night, and she
Hmm.
probably would have blocked me by now. So everything happens for a reason. But like things that were big in New York in '91, Kanai, used cross colors, Hilfiger
Used.
eventually.
Oh my God. Oh, man.
Polo was
Yeah.
over there, but you know what? North Face was not. North Face
Triple fat goose.
a triple fat goose, but also, what was Columbia was bigger
Mhm.
at that time.
Yeah.
So those are things that I would love to pick her brain about. But they're going for the aesthetic, not necessarily completely.
Hey, Kanan had
The
a
accuracy,
bomb
yeah.
used. Kanan had on a bomb guest jacket in
Yes.
the second episode. That
Mhm.
was straight early 90s because
That
that's
was
when we were
big.
really rocking a lot of guests. That's when that shit was. You had to have the pants with the G on the back and them Jones to show that you was hip and cool. Trust me.
Okay.
But speaking of having to rock things, next up we get Ronnie as he
Oh God,
finally introduces us to two characters we've been waiting to see.
Ronnie
And
made
that
my chest hurt.
Snap and Pop. So I'm just going, without going into too much detail, I'm gonna ask you, I'm starting with you, Nature, first. What do
Mhm.
you think about the introduction of Snap and Pop and their conversations with Ronnie at this moment? And you could talk about it in full, the full conversation with Ronnie and everything that he asks them for. And we see up front just the control and the power they have over certain things, even though, just like Rock, they're out of the game.
Yeah, I thought it was a very fluent introduction. They didn't build it up to be like a big spectacle, but obviously there's respect there, and I think they bring another flavor to the show as well. But I'm glad we didn't have to wait too long. I think when you talk about like the shows like BMF, where we were kind of waiting for Monique to show up, and her introduction was big. They really built it up. But I think we had to wait until like, I don't know, what was it, like episode 6 or 7, pretty late in the season, whatever it was. But I think, you know, when you talk about the stardom, I think you kind of look across the board, and those kind of fit in terms of like the new castings for the respective shows. But I'm glad we didn't have to wait too much long, and I'm definitely interested in seeing where to go. But to me, it's the interesting dynamic about who Ronnie respects outside of who he doesn't. And I think that was the first thing to me, because everybody now is looking like, who is Ronnie's next body going to be? And Ronnie's moving around. He's trying to do some things, trying to get back on his own feet. But it was kind of interesting that they were able to not be tight, not be even looking down at him. They were just kind of just like, they knew him. And it was they just gonna have to talk the business, and it was what it was. So it's good to see that everybody's not afraid of Michael Myers. That's I think that was the biggest thing for me. And
I
also,
was so surprised by that. I was very surprised by it. Like how, like even when she went in to hug him and he was like this.
I love I love the script here, because she nailed every element in terms of him being fresh out of jail, talk about his physique and all that sorts of different flirting. And my man just didn't look like he knew what he wanted to do, but it was good. And I think you just had 3 good actors on the screen, and I'm sure the directing, producers, and everybody was very excited to shoot that scene and make that initial introduction. So it was fire. It was definitely fire.
Give me your opinion, Keemie. What did you think about this introduction of Snap and Pop? Snap and Pop are crazy names. I'm just saying that now.
I love it because it's like crack.
Yes.
Wait, what was it?
Rice Krispie treats. It's Rice Krispies. Yeah.
And they look like Rice Krispie treats, right? Like with their matching sweatsuits. They look like they they were in Chicago doing the line dance that they do in Chicago. They look so cute.
To me, it's all on the plate, wasn't you?
Yes, they look like they about to step in the name of love. So cute. But I love their introduction. I think that at first I was a little, I guess, I don't want to say apprehensive, but I guess I didn't know how they would fit in with what we already have established. I'm always like curious about how new characters are gonna mesh with the other characters that we've already grown to know in the show. And one of the things that I've noticed just with this season in particular is that in the first 2, we would say this is a slow burn, right? We take a long walk for a little drink of water, because they're still building out these characters, right? So now that we've already had the build out, right? And we already know who these people are. We already know the propensity that Uncle Marvin has to fucking shit up. We already know that Lou is not really messing with rock, and he really has an affinity towards music. We already know that Kanan is in the dark about a lot of things, and when he's brought to the light, can he handle what she's been hiding from him this entire time? So we already built all of that out. And then, like, to throw someone new in the mix, I'm like, okay, well, now we got to get to know other people. So we got to go through this whole thing again. But I kind of feel like I don't have to do this with these people. I already know what they're here for. I know what they're here for. I know what purpose they're going to serve. I know they're probably not going to be here for a very long time, but they're going to be here to help Ronnie through his segue back into civilization. So we'll see how long they last. I like the idea of their characters. Like they're fun, but they're not comic relief. They're stern, but they're not gonna kill you like Rock. Maybe they may kill you, but they're retired and they still need a check.
Hey, he said
at the end of all of this,
one of the most beautiful lines of it. That monthly check is always needed. Like, stop playing with me.
So that's why I was like, at first, before didn't see it. So, and now that I
Mhm.
saw it, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I like how they were introduced. I like that I don't have to get to know these people. I don't have to go through their whole
Yes.
backstory. I don't have to do a whole bunch of character development, worry about where their arc is gonna plateau or where they're gonna fall back down. I just know these people with the matching sweatsuits, they are here to get us through to Ronnie. They're a complete plot device.
Yeah. And in 3 minutes, you learn they're completely respected in the streets.
There we go.
Yep.
They're no longer in the game. They have money, and people fear them. You learned all of that in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
From her just hugging Ronnie and talking about his prison body and saying, I like men like this. And then for Snap to come up and say, then why the hell are you with me? It's a moment of it's a comedic moment, but you don't take them for a joke at all. Because when they're sitting down and that switch is flipped on Snap, he gets very direct, very quick about what's going to happen. And that's what you want. You love these type of characters because they are plug and play. You put them in there, you already know what you're going to do. And it only works when you have great actors who can do it for you. That way you don't need to build up to anything. But speaking of that and build up, let's go back one prior scene to this, and that is Unique meeting with his new business partner, and they're talking about distribution and how they're planning on moving everything. I know this is just a quick scene, Keemie, but it's still a way where we need to understand who Unique is partnered with and how this is going to move for him in the business. What did you think quickly about this scene with him and his new business partner, and where do you think this is going to lead to, as you kind of see a little friction between them two, but that's more becoming from a misunderstanding of the way business works between them two?
I don't think that this is gonna last long. I'll just say it like that. The scene.
There's a lot of temporary things going on in this scene.
It's a lot of in this scene. I could already tell from not I don't want to say language barrier, because there really isn't a language barrier. They both speak English. I just think that Unique doesn't understand what they got going on, and he probably doesn't really care. And they don't care what Unique has going on. And it's just, they're only there for temporary. It's just like, it kind of looks like, it's like a literal iteration of Band-Aid. That's what Unique looks like to me in this whole story point. Like, it just doesn't look like it's gonna go anywhere. It looks like the Italians just gave him something to do just to get them out of his. I'm sorry.
Well, quickly then. No. You nailed it perfectly. That's why I asked you to do it, because
I'm sorry.
Nigeria would have been like, it's nothing.
I have been chasing Unique or Joey Badass's people down for him since the summer, since July of year, and they have been like dodging me. So I know what that means.
You better stop putting your business out there. And they're like, why they dodging her? What's wrong with her?
Go to the next scene. Go to the next scene.
Let's run through a couple of quick scenes that really is not much to talk about, but if you all want to interject with something, let me know. Okay. We get Marvin, and he meets up with his junkie friend, who also happens to be an entertainment reporter. He works at a magazine. I didn't know if it was Flavor magazine.
Jet.
I was really confused.
Jet.
It is?
Yes. The Village Voice is like a cultural staple in New York.
Yeah, it's Jet.
You said it right there. I was waiting. You said in New York. I said, okay. No, that was Flavor. I know Flavor when I see Flavor. All they was missing was Queen Latifah.
Only thing I add to that scene is it's just good again, once again, to see therapy working, and the two of them and where they started, and them having that moment, and him being his partner in terms of accountability. What I like about the scene is that to see something like this normalized on television, that more people hopefully take this and realize that we should also apply this into our own real life. Also, I should add that I talked to Crystal Joy Brown, and I laughed and joked with her, and I was like, hey man, I know Renee's gone, but You did a good thing there. Look at Marvin. I know you proud from the heavens seeing him in that therapy work. Right? And if you know who I'm talking about, Renee from last season, his therapist, Crystal Joy Brown, she has a new Christmas film on Hallmark, and she's also killing it 5 nights a week on Broadway. So, yeah, check your girl out.
Wait a minute, is that the Hallmark film that they've sent out? I kept on seeing it. I said,
no, it's not that one. No, it's not that one. They didn't send this one out. Yeah, no, I knew you're talking about. No, yeah, it's not that one. If they did, and this one to be frank, you would watch it on Peacock, so it would have been a Peacock distribution per se by way of Hallmark. But there's some proper Hallmark ones floating out there that I know what you're talking about. It's not that, no. And you would have seen her. You would have been like, oh, I know her. And
yeah,
also,
exactly.
yeah, there's a couple of other names in there too that you would have known. But yeah, it's called Heaven Down Here is what it's called.
Of course it is. Hallmark movie. Perfect title.
Yeah, of course.
Next up is the scene where we get the feds as they're trying to figure out Crown's business and how was he able to run everything, as we see this quick meeting between them and Howard and them asking Howard questions about Crown. I'm going to be real easy here with you all.
Me.
When do you think this lie is going to fall apart? Because that's all it's looking like.
5 seconds here. Also, I got to also mention to the film, Felissa Rashad is in it too. So put some respect.
Oh, that's all I needed to know.
Yeah, there you
go. Is that the movie? Is that the movie she cry in? The meme I've always seen when they be like something happen, they be like, she be like, oh God.
No.
Like, is that...
No.
What is wrong with you? I said this on Keemie show, and I've been waiting to say this again. Here is the Crown lie. I'm glad that it's being brought up suspiciously the way it is, because I have said to Keemie, both on the record and off the record, that there's no reason that the person that they should have pinned this all on should have been Cartier. Fareed.
Yes.
Said it, y'all.
It makes no sense.
Way more established, got connections in other cities, runs a music business to the same. I have no clue why this was not a collective thought with Rock and everybody to establish. This seems way more legitimate to Crown. Even the white boys are like, Crown? I don't know. This ain't kind of adding up the way it is. Like, really? So yeah, to answer your question directly, I'm glad that it's being questioned, and this ain't gonna last long. At some point something's gonna fall through. I probably could take some time. I'm sure we all could take some time and figure out what that one detail is going to be. And to me, I think it's going to be a financial record of some sort, because my man was definitely struggling up and down the board. But Cartier wasn't. Art gallery, art business, multiple places. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, it won't be long before this blows up in their face, and I can't wait to see how and when the first domino falls.
You know, it's so funny because when we were reviewing, so for everyone, if you want to go back, just to show you how smart Niger is, we were talking about this from the first episode. So we reviewed on Chronicles of Power, episode 1 of Raising Kanan. And he said this from back then. This was weeks ago, right? And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. And then he said something about the financial situation. And I was like, well, duh, of course there's going to be something in the finances because Rock bought the business from Crown. I was like, they're gonna keep digging through to find where did the switch come? How did they get this to happen? Like we all watch the same show. They're gonna find the same things out that we found out. It's just probably gonna take them a little bit more time. Another thing, I'm actually surprised they killed Burke so quick.
We don't got time tonight.
I know. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. My bad. Listen, when I do my review shows, I'm literally sitting there talking by myself. So sometimes I get guests.
So it clicks when you talk. Trust me.
And then
I'll just make the announcement. You'll be back next week, okay? So I think you all go.
Well, see, guys, I'll be back next week. But I'm just telling y'all, like, sometimes when I sit down and I'm sitting there talking to myself, and I'm like, so hey, they didn't think about this shit? Like, no. And then when I try, and then like I don't have anybody else to talk to about it because nobody in my
So
family.
you just you work it through your own mind. And you're like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Trust me.
So then when the year
Trust me.
I was like, well, duh, Keemie, duh, she bought the other part of the record label, and that's how she slipped the rug from under Lou. Remember?
It's gonna be it's gonna be
now
so
here's
wild
also-
when Rock get brought in for questioning, and Lou finds out. I'm gonna say yes. So I own you, right? Remember that? Gonna be looking at us like, yeah. Remember that? Now look at you.
Yeah.
Mind one other thing. I asked the question of when do you think the lie is going to blow up, and what I meant that is for everyone around it. I'm a firm believer. To them, they already know it's a lie. They're putting out fillers to see who else is involved in the lie. Because if I just bring that up to Howard, who I think is already crooked, and you tell me, oh no, Crown was running everything, and we already know that's a lie, you get put next to Rock.
That's how good policing works.
It's a way to break down everything.
I know this scene is not that big, but I did like have like some sort of like things that I saw when I first saw it, like because when we released the pictures. So guys, if you're ever looking for pictures for the newer episodes that's coming out, always go to Chronicles of Power because I release them every Tuesday. I put out the full spread of pictures to give you clues of what's going to happen in the next episode. But when I saw his pictures from episode 4, I was like, why is he dressed like this?
Yep.
I was like, oh, he got on a really nice, expensive suit. Like not a suit that's like for a cop salary. I was like, is he coming from court? Where is he going dressed like this? But I was like, oh, they catching up with him. They're catching up.
It's the 9th. That's that Woodworth and Lothram suit. I know them suits themselves, Joe. You ain't gonna fool me, buddy.
Hey, sir. His way edge too. I ain't gonna hold you. Them double-breasted suits that when your shoulders look this big.
Y'all are
Yep, exactly.
They look this small.
Y'all are.
That's when you do. That's when you do look snatched.
Like this.
That's when,
What you saying about Grantham, Lucas?
I ain't looking at that man waist. That had nothing to do with me, Joe. That had nothing to do with me. All I noticed is that he was the only member of the cast in a suit. No one else had a suit on.
Nah, he knew he was coming in to slay that night, and he wore red.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly.
He's like, I'm gonna portray this Michael Myers thing to
Yeah,
the
Wendell.
end.
Besides Wendell, I was just thinking that. Besides Wendell,
But Wendell is expect. Like Wendell is always Mr. Cool. You expect that from Wendell.
Yeah,
I mean, like, come on.
Dora.
Like Marvin had on London had on Jordans.
I respect.
Like everybody else was more relaxed.
Dan's
they've been there before.
Tony had he probably had a
That's Tony
tux.
Dancer. That's Tony Dancer. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Who's the
he
boss?
was in that jump for 10
Who's your
minutes, and he was like, "I'm out."
Yeah. He ain't do the Mary J walkthrough that we got before on Ghost when she just floated through the room and went to her own private party away from the cast and everybody. But he totally did stay.
So I love these things. Tell me more. What else happened?
Mary mythically walked through the red carpet. And if you seen her, you did. And if you didn't, you didn't.
We were on the red carpet and she walked past.
Last season of Ghost, mythically walked through.
For the Hollywood Reporter and no one else. And
one question and was gone. Literally, she's like, photo ops, group photo ops, Hollywood Reporter gone. So
she looked amazing. She looked like wealth. That's the first time I ever seen somebody, and I'd have been around plenty of people with lots of money. That's the first time I've ever seen somebody thought, yep, that's wealth. That's not even rich. That's just somebody just letting you know, like, I'm here so I don't get fined. That's it. That's the only reason I'm here. Let's get back in to it. Next up,
follow-up questions, but go ahead. I'll stop.
Oh shit. Next up, I don't know if it's important at all that Juke gets a physical examination to go to the army. I know power doesn't do wasted things. I'm just confused on.
It's because Juke is going down what a lot of us went through in terms of just a future of a future, I guess, like a future choice. If anybody's ever played that game called Outrun with the red Ferrari, the arcade game that used to be at everybody's Pizza Hut, and you know when you're driving and you get to the end and you either could go left or right, this is sort of just the predicament here with Juke, because we're seeing where she has, and for us the relatable thing is some people have the option of going to the military or going to college, and it's her pursuing her passion over which could be deemed as the safe outcome in going to the military. So it's a matter of us looking at the possible outcomes of our life, but ultimately seeing the decisions that she's making to ultimately knowing where the trajectory of her life goes. So that's why it's like a thing of seeing her going through the ropes, going through the military, and what we know what the military would have did, would have easily displaced her. She would have went, served, been in some other country or some other state. A lot of things in the future that's to come is come. We know she's not going to the military.
I completely disagree. I disagree.
Yeah, go ahead, Keemie. Go ahead. Wait a minute.
That scene was supposed to exemplify.
Okay.
Even if it was the undertone for it, that scene was there for a reason. Yes, and I'll take you for a long walk, but for a good drink of water this time. I saw someone ask on London Brown's lives, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but he goes live a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
People ask him a lot of the same questions, and God bless him, he doesn't get annoyed. And even if he does, like, he still kind of answers. But someone said, I want to see what made Juke into the person that she became in Power. Granted,
that's the question that's asked every time, though, right?
Right. And it's a dumb question, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody always says there's no such thing as stupid questions, right? But there are, because this show, and they are meticulously, like with a fine-tooth comb, showing you everything that could happen in somebody's life that can turn them into a monster, right? Mm-hmm. It's not one thing. It's not two things. It's not three things. This is something that we said, or that I said earlier. It is the totality of the circumstance. Mm-hmm. So think of Juke's life, right? In 1991, her lifestyle, or what she is going through as a teenage girl who is attracted to women who may identify as being part of the LGBTQ plus community. And at that time, we didn't even have this terminology.
Just gay. Just right. Straight or gay.
Just gay or lesbian or whatever word they used at that time. And look at the interaction of Burke's dad with Burke's lover, saying that she's the reason why, you're the reason why all of this happened to my daughter. What? But let's take a step back. In the scene, Juke doesn't even have the autonomy to say, no, I'm not going to be pregnant. I say so that, no, I know that I'm not pregnant, that I didn't do anything to get pregnant. And the lady is pretty much just saying to her, well, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I told you that I'm not pregnant. And I think that it highlights just how we don't listen to female voices, right? Especially in Juke's situation. Right now, I'm glad that she has some sort of advocate with her father, meaning Marvin, that they have a closer relationship now, considering the trauma that she experienced with him in the first season when they had that huge fight where he slaps her, he chokes her. And like, I don't know how this show hasn't won an Emmy yet. I'm sorry that I'm going off in a tangent. The fact that scene happened on television today, and the gravity of it, considering things that we know, and they keep looking over this show, it's beyond me at this point. But again, I'll get back to the point of Juke.
Can I just interject really quick? No, I think, and we spent, and again, it's the same thing to the statement of running towards the finish line. We know where Juke demise lands, and we've asked Sasha in previous seasons, and everybody asks him when he gets a chance in terms of what's going to be the determining factor that's going to turn Juke into
It's
a monster.
everything.
And it's everything. And
Everything.
I think there's a lot on your note, because and why I absolutely can look at a scene and also kind of dissect it in that matter of us saying one or two things. One, just how unfar we've come in society, and something that I've really dove into pretty heavy this last 2 years in terms of reviewing other films and series and stuff like that, is systematic racism. And I mentioned it last week, but last episode. And it was a scene that really bothered me because we've been there, and I think we're all conditionally kind of conditioned to a scene that a lot of folks didn't talk about. And it was when she went to her career advisor and she didn't know her name. She literally didn't want to give her any liable options. She didn't want to back her for her dreams. And we've all been there at a point of this statement that we always say that at some point should not be such a common statement of, we all had that one teacher that says, you're never going to do this, you'll never make it, you won't amount to anything. All of us got that story. All of us got that story. And I mean, me and Lucas, we did we spoke to some kids and we reversed that. We got that shit out of there instantly. Said, whatever y'all trying to pursue, y'all get on that right now. I don't care what it is. Don't wait until I need to have enough money or I need to wait till I'm this age. No, get on that shit right now, because all of us have been through that. And I think by your statement, Keemie, it's just another adult that should be there to encourage her to pursue her dreams, uplift her, steer her in the right path, but clearly is trying to find any way to disqualify her, to make her ineligible, to shatter the dream, suppress, and as I stated, the systematic racism in terms of the oppression of Black folks to ever achieving anything that we're overly qualified for. If you do a little bit of research here, you hear about the kids who they purposely tried to score low, put them in these classes. You can't read one thing. They give you a 5th grade book. You're in the 1st grade, said you can't read it. They're like, oh, that person is, at the time they would use the word retarded, because they didn't give you the resources to excel, but they found quickly ways to say, nah, hold that person back. Don't let that person see. Don't give them the resources. But, and this is one of those type of, that I saw that. I didn't think initially when I saw it that that's what they wanted to tap into for another episode, but you're entirely right. This is starting to be a theme of us seeing her be really broken down in so many aspects, educationally, career-wise, religion. I mean, it goes on and on. It goes on and on.
Everything. Think of all of this story. Although we're raising Kanan, we're also seeing the breakdown. Jukebox.
It's always been about Juke.
Right? It's always been about Juke.
What did you call it last season, Lucas? You called it something. You gave it a different
Raising
name.
Jukebox.
No,
Raising
I swear
Jukebox.
you called it something else. I thought it was Raising Jukebox, but I swear you called it something else. But yeah, indeed.
Look at everything that has happened to her just up until this point of the story, right?
The religion stuff is the most. It's so cringy. I don't even think I can watch it again. It's top tier most cringy thing I've ever seen.
So I won't fully speak on this because this is not my story to tell. I know someone that happened to, right? Where they tried to pray the gay away. And that scene could have been worse, is what I'll say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the fact that they showed it, I was like, yo, this show is hitting on so much stuff. Things that you will never, ever see in TV. And I just how are they missing this? What do we have to do for people to recognize what is happening on this show? What?
You have to watch and talk about it within years. Nothing happens instantly.
Okay.
The Wire is now looked at as the greatest show of all time. It never got nominated for a single award, ever.
Yeah.
Well, that's another part of systemic racism and institutionalized.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Listen, don't get me started.
Move on to the next scene. Move us, but yeah, it's a very intentional scene, and I'll even throw it to the viewers. Let us know what you kind of assess from this scene. And again, let's remove the focus in terms of that one factor that turns Juke into a monster, but start to really understand just the what's the word I'm looking for? The decomposition of her psychology from the numerous things that she is enduring for trauma. And then again, you take away all the horrific things and just look around of a young girl who is surrounded by loss. Lost her first girlfriend, lost her mother. I mean, lost her mentor in Burke. How much can one young lady endure? And granted, put yourself in shoes. I mean, we've all and I don't wish on anybody, but a majority of us have at this point of our life has experienced loss, and then another loss, and then that's the statement of, man, they die in threes, which I don't ever want to use that statement for it to ever be true, but goddamn if it ain't at times. When it's 1, 2, but damn, somebody else. So just understanding where you were at mentally when some of those things happen, and they're building the character like that for us to watch and to understand.
A child. Building a child around that, not a character, not someone in their 20s and 30s who may be able to cope. They're building a child around this. That should tell you a lot. And but they say, Keemie said, you're raising Kanan, but you're breaking down Jukebox. That's it. It's a and then we didn't even get to Pebbles yet. Like we're gonna talk about Pebbles later on.
Wait, we gotta talk about Pebbles.
We're gonna talk about we're gonna get the Pebbles. We're gonna get the Pebbles. We're gonna get the Pebbles.
Because when Pebbles came on the screen, I was like, oh, that's Pebbles. Look at that.
Okay. Y'all I'm happy I'm not the only one. When she started talking, I said, oh my God, that is Pebbles.
Y'all are ridiculous. Y'all are ridiculous.
But speaking of someone breaking down someone and trying to make their life a living hell, we have Unique's baby mother trying to tell this black man, because you know black men don't cheat, but she's trying to tell this black man that he is cheating. He's not cheating. He's just exploring different options.
Yes, they do.
People who he could possibly get to know better. But I know it's not much to talk about this scene because this is just, I'm guessing, them attempting to put it out there that she kind of knows something's going on.
Well, I mean, Ronnie
in his personal life. And that Ronnie, because Ronnie's a messy bitch at this point. I'm telling you, this man would tell everything, Joe. He is so messy, Joe.
Dog, and he's such a dog. Like, he's such a hypocrite, but we'll get there. But I ain't about to tell him that motherfucker be in my window looking or something.
Hey, then you hear the Michael Myers music. Be like, God damn it, Ronnie. Leave the hell alone. But next up, we get Rock as she meets up with Kanan. And we see her here peeping everything around Kanan. And she kind of notices exactly what he's doing here. Now, I'm going to use this scene to jump into other stuff with Rock and Kanan in this episode, since we're running over an hour right now.
I'm sorry.
Did you
blame me, guys?
No, it's not, Keemie. It's all of our faults. We are having fun. We having a beautiful conversation. We ain't talked to each other about power in over a month at this point.
Yes, so y'all be in for the ride.
There you go. Did you think that this scene here with Rock was going to lead to Rock taking the actions that she takes later on in this episode with Kanan?
Yes, because she's a wicked woman.
No, but yes, because as we like to tier worst moms in the Power universe, her putting the gun in her son's book bag by no means is a tactic I would ever thought anybody would resort to, considering the ramifications of it. So
I said, Lord,
would she try to figure out a way to leverage Kanan back home? Yes, I definitely saw that. Would she say, yeah, taking a gun to school definitely is a good idea? What could happen? You know,
is it that way when you know you can control the outcome of him having that gun in school?
I don't. I mean, I get the outcome of the school and the
And
influence and
listen,
everything, and
she knew exactly
with
who to
Howard.
call with that gun. She ain't crazy. And the moment she called him with the say, no, the police, you must have somebody looking out for you. Of course he does. And Rock knows he does. But
Yeah.
Rock will do whatever she has to do to get him back home. And I'm 100% sure she fully understood what was going to happen.
I mean,
And
yeah,
Kim
her
is right.
and Howard
That's
kind of
wicked.
talked about it.
That is someone who's
It
extremely
is.
wicked, who
Right.
plans out your demise. Like, no, I'm gonna bring you back home. It ain't gonna be the way you want. But, and I'm gonna ask you to this. Do you think we will look back on that as being a positive thing now? Because
No.
we clearly saw. Well, here you go. Hold up, no. We clearly saw where Kanan was heading, and he was heading there very recklessly, completely recklessly. If she doesn't do this, there's no way what he's currently into business-wise is going to end with him not being in jail. Because as you said before, we said at the beginning of the episode, you're not surprised what happened because he was selling drugs on his stoop. He was literally meeting people at school to give them drug routes. He was doing everything so reckless that by her making this action, it took away all of that from him. Now you can't do any of that. And you're back under my thumb. While we understand that what she did was horrible, but sometimes you have to do evil for the greater good.
Random tidbit, guys. So
Preach it to the choir. Preach it to the choir. That's my statement.
random tidbit. So I don't know if you guys remember or know this, but that's actually how 50 Cent got kicked out of school. They found drugs in his backpack, and I was like, oh, this is a callback to 50. So they found drugs in his backpack, and that's how he got kicked out of high school. I do question if we had metal detectors in 1991 in New York. I wouldn't remember. I was too little to know. But I can find out. I can ask like my older cousins to see if we had at that time.
I don't think it takes away from like the believability of the series.
I understand it for in context of the story. But the reason why I question, I'm just like, what made them go through 50's backpack at that time? Because something had to have happened in the school for them to go through his backpack to find drugs.
Because in LA, definitely at that point in the early 90s, they had metal detectors.
Okay,
for sure. Late 80s, early 90s, they had metal detectors. I know DC did though. Yeah. They did. The metal detectors was all. I mean, gang violence. The first thing you think of is we got to stop weapons. And they wouldn't necessarily look for guns, perhaps more knives, because kids were stabbing each other more than shooting each other back then.
Okay.
Or brass knuckles and things of that nature. Things that would ring on a metal detector would be what you would look for.
Yeah.
Now, here's something that I think.
And also, prejudice gets anybody searched, so it's easy to say that person looks like they're up to something.
Yeah, and plus, when you're in school, you don't have the same rights that you would have as an individual and as an adult. You don't have that because you're on school grounds and you're underage and you're a minor, and they can.
Some school would make it feel as if you have no rights.
Well, you don't, essentially, because you're a minor. Yeah. You're in school, and they can go through.
People ain't selling. People ain't selling drugs right in school because it ain't difficult. You can't be the kid. You can't be the bad. You can't be the bad kid. You can't be the bad kid. You can't be the kid that's not doing their schoolwork and then think you can do this. But if you're the kid who does everything school-wise that you're supposed to do, and then you do it, you're never suspected. It's easy to breeze through.
Yeah,
2 or 3 lockers later, you hide whatever product you selling. You hide from your mother, who happens to be crazy, whatever you buy with said product, and you hide money. Like it's all humanly possible. It's all humanly possible. That's all I'm saying.
So,
and Kane is a good kid.
All right,
that's
Lucas. All right, Lucas St. Patrick.
I'm bringing it up because Kane is a good kid. If you ever pay attention, he's in school every day. He's clearly passing grades. Like he's doing everything he's supposed to do in school.
Yeah.
That's why he gets the blind eye turned to him. It's his mom who's like, nope, we're not doing this.
Well, so then to bring it back to the question that you originally posed, do I think would we look at this as a good thing later on. I think that this could have gone terribly wrong for a multitude of reasons, right? Because obviously, the gun, I don't think the gun was loaded, right?
Yeah, the gun wasn't loaded.
The gun wasn't loaded. So I may be in the minority here. I understand what she did. And I understand her thought process through it. Like, okay, I have Howard that will do anything to have some sort of relationship with this child. And I know that I can use that as leverage for him to stick his neck out on the line to continue to save him. How long that's going to last, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see the wheels turning in her head of how she would get him to do that. I don't know if I would do that to my own kid, only because of the climate that we live in right now.
Yeah.
But and even then, I that could have ended so bad.
Yeah, dog. There's so many other ways to get him sent to the principal's office.
Like
Period.
what? Other
But
ways?
no. It wasn't just sent to the principal's office.
Yeah.
You need to put him in a situation where he had to move back home. That's why I understand what she did.
Right, because
It
of the
had to
social
be a
worker.
situation. Yes, I need to take away all options away from you, and then it will bring you back under my umbrella. That's what Rock's thinking is here. So it's cruel, but I fully you ain't never loved somebody until you manipulated a situation for them to be back with you.
Oh,
Like that's all she did. That's all Rock did.
that is toxic.
From a parent perspective. I'm sorry, from a parent perspective, not from like a regular
Manipulate
relationship.
people to be with you.
From a parent perspective, you manipulate kids. I have 3 teenagers. I manipulate them as much as humanly possible.
Wait,
I know how to do it at this point. Okay?
Pay attention to us. We are.
No. I'm looking down at my notes. I'm looking down at my notes because we jumped a little bit here. I don't
Yeah,
agree. I mean, but I get it though, and it's an extreme measure, and it has the extreme ramifications of it, and it's definitely
Yes.
all very much controlled. It's not loaded, and then obviously everybody involved all knew what it was because Howard obviously, as Rock said, what you called in the favor at the school or whatever or whatnot. So it's a strange situation, but I don't know. And I guess the bigger question to me is this: like, all right, cool, you're gonna get back home. What does that do for his image amongst his peers, amongst the other folks who wasn't in? I mean, listen, when a kid brings a gun to school back then, and then even until like very early 2000s, we can say, everybody remembers the kid that brought the whatever to school. And does it strike fear? Does it strike respect? Does it exile him? That's going to be the interesting thing. If they decide to use this beyond just him going back, having to go back home.
If you pay attention to it, they showed the kid's reaction to him getting caught with that weapon.
They kind of hyped it a little bit. Like they were kind of like, oh snap, yeah.
Because you the man. You remember Tupac and Juice? Everybody respected and feared Tupac and Juice when he had that 6-shooter that had 45 bullets for some odd reason. Because he was shooting the shit out that junk with no reloads. So, we know how this works. And that's what I say. It's understandable. And Rock is a master manipulator. And at this point, she did what she does best. She manipulated the situation to get the outcome she needed to have.
Yeah, that's typical Rock there.
We see it as a danger for Kanan because there's no telling where this could have went wrong. But to her, it's planned out perfectly. I know exactly where this is going to go. And the moment it goes where it needs to go, I'm going to have my baby back and I'm going to be able to control him because she didn't put this plan in place until she saw him selling drugs. Because one thing she ain't is stupid. So she knew exactly what he was doing when she said, with all the people with your friends got bikes now with pages. She literally knew exactly what he was doing. So this is her saying, okay, if I'm out this game, you out this game too. We ain't half-assing nothing because I'll now
she doesn't want problems around her.
And she up later on. So yeah, it's a good way to put it. But as you said, we did jump around some, but let's go back to quickly.
Sorry.
Ronnie but we had to because I just had to combine all that together. But next up is Ronnie and Dean. One, why Ronnie was playing bingo. I thought this nigga's super crazy.
It just blew me. It blew me how serious he was too. And I don't mean like this, like the very like amped
This
up
nigga don't have
seriousness.
fun doing nothing. He
He
has
was
fun doing
engaged.
nothing.
He was.
Yeah.
He might have won. All we know.
Hey, it's like they said B14. He was like, "Yup, B14." It's like no enjoyment at all. But here we get the introduction of a character that we thought we possibly had moved past, which is Dean, as we see Ronnie approaches him to buy work from him. But here we find out that Ronnie doesn't know anything about Unique's business. So, Keemie, what did you think about this setup from him going to Dean, bringing up Unique, and him finding out in this moment that Dean is not Unique's supplier?
So number one, what the fuck is Ronnie's problem? Yo, like
oh, I'm surprised you don't see it. Wait, you don't see it?
No. Cause I'm like, bro,
you from New York, right, Keemie? You from New York, am I right?
Yeah, but I was like, bro,
Biggie said it best.
They're not even
jealousy.
That
it's all jealousy.
I guess he's jealous, but it seems like, okay, one, let me not say I don't know what his problem is, because I can figure out what his problem is. I just gotta be upfront and be like, bro, chill out. You just got out last week. Like, relax. He said he's gonna swing back around to you once he has everything figured out. Why are you trying to go over the top and trying to figure out other stuff? You making it mad hot right now. Like, chill, bro. Relax. Relax. I know you crazy. You got bad shit on your brain. You want to put cereal in order. You want everything in size order. You want things in color order. Relax. Okay? Just chill out. So when he went to Dean, I was like, okay, you kind of messing stuff up right now, because Dean and Unique don't even rock like that anymore. And if you would have asked your brother first, instead of being a hothead and being a fucking psychopath, you would have known that, hey, I'm dealing with the Italians right now, and your brother was upfront and transparent with you and told you the truth. To which I can say, like, Unique is probably one of the more truthful characters that we've ever had on the show, where he told you, like, hey, Rock is not in the game anymore. She's not our problem. To which she isn't. Like, they just bumping bushes at this point. But other than that, like, she don't want no problems with the Italians. She don't want no problems with D. She don't want no problems with nobody. She don't even want no problems with Pilgrim Shorty, who had on the Pilgrim shirt. What's her name?
Juliana?
Yes. So, first of all, I got a big beef with Juliana, right? When Shorty got so tough, didn't Rock just have to be a husband for her?
Hey, listen,
she just got her ass whooped last week.
Unless it was a Tubi movie, I ain't never seen this type of revelation ever. Like, this is wild. Or J-Lo. It's Tubi or J-Lo movies.
She went from getting her ass whooped to now looking like Selena's #1 fan in a span of 2 weeks. It is ridiculous.
She's a mixture of the lady that killed Selena and Selena at the same time. Yes. Sorry. Wait. Back to Dean. Sorry. I keep going on tangents. Hold on. Compose myself. Okay, back to Dean. So, Ronnie is messing everything up. I understand that he wants to be proactive, because if I'm correct, Ronnie is the older brother, correct?
Yes.
So Ronnie is older, and he kind of has that older brother complex where he kind of feels like the little brother doesn't know what they're doing, and they can never handle things the way how he could, which is something similar that we saw with the Sampson brothers in Force.
I'm about to say, and Ronnie ran everything and left everything to Unique when he went to jail, kind of like Diamond did
to Jannard. But the similarities here are is that Jannard kept that $1 million business. So did Unique. Granted, Unique kind of got ousted out by some of the business transactions or whatever it transpired last season between Rock and the Italians, and how they broke everything, made him take a smaller territory. But he's He's trying to fix all of that right now because Rock is out and he's going to take everything over. All Ronnie had to do was wait. That was it. You've been out 1 week. You had Honey Nut Cheerios, no pussy, and you still acting stupid. Relax.
That's crazy.
I have to bring up one thing that's really been bothering me about like timelines. As I'm not contradicting myself from earlier, I'm just gonna make a statement that it makes no sense that Ronnie only went to jail for 3 years. I thought
he was there for 10.
I've been saying 10. A couple of folks have been correcting me saying it's only been 3. It literally has to be 10. He has to have missed at least 10 years for him to have felt dated, misplaced, and all these different sort of personality withdrawals that he's having to everything that's happening around. 3 years is nothing. Hell, pandemic was 3 years. It ain't none of us changed drastically from that.
Hold up. Think for a second here. We only think Ronnie has changed. What makes you think this wasn't always him?
No. His personality could actually be his personality. That's fine. But him coming out talking about the corners, this, when I was out, it was like this. Things ain't moving like that in 3 years.
You ain't never seen nobody. You ain't never seen nobody who go away for a year and the way they feel. They don't like the way shit change in a year. Keep in mind, if you go away for 3 years after you've been the man your entire life, 3 years is a long time. That's over 1,000 days.
Diamond wasn't giving that. Diamond came out of Bama.
Keep in mind though, Diamond was more at peace with everything. Ronnie is not. Ronnie's not at peace with anything.
And again, I still think that like they're either at peace or at chaos, wherever it may be. In planting these folks back into society, Diamond looked drastically removed. He had to get back into groove and whatnot. And Ronnie looks removed, but to say it's only 3 years just doesn't make sense to me. It has to be 10, and I don't know why people just keep.
They said it was 10.
I said it was 10 too, and people like it's 3. Anyway, that's my tidbit.
Because I've seen some articles that said 3. Couple. It's very weird for the time, and they talk about the time, but that's why it's hard to talk about time frames. I'm not even focused on the time frame that he's gone. I'm focused on the point that, to me, that's always been Ronnie's personality. It's a difference when you willfully build up your brother to take over for you, different from your force for your little brother to take over from you. Diamond built his business. Him and Jannard were in sync with each other. He went away, Jannard took over. It's a big difference between the way Ronnie and Unique is. Plus, Jannard never had a big threat when Diamond was away that took away from his business. Unique has had that threat. And you know what Ronnie's thinking the whole time? How is it? And he says it in the car in the first episode. How is it that you let this blank come in and take this from you? He sees his brother as weak. Diamond did not see Jannard as weak when he came out. Eventually he does think he thinks Jannard couldn't focus enough on the business, but being weak and he understood Jannard can handle the streets and handle anybody in the streets without an issue. I don't think Ronnie believes Unique can. Because he's been punked to him. And when you're punked, that's it. A street dude will never respect you if you're punked. And I think Ronnie's treating Unique like, it's a saying when you would say, I'm going to treat you like I'm treating every other nigga on the street. I'm not treating you like my family anymore. You've done something I don't like, so you just like every other dude I got to deal with. If you pay attention to him, that's how Ronnie is treating Unique versus Diamond. Even when him and Jannard was at beef with each other, it was Jannard who was treating Diamond different. Diamond was still like, that's my brother. We don't see that from Ronnie. And later on in this episode, Ronnie says something he gives a warning out that tells you exactly how he sees Unique when he's talking to Juliana and her cousin. And he says, if Unique's a problem, I will deal with it. He didn't say that like, I'll talk to my brother. That did not sound like I'm going to talk to him. That sounded like if I need to get rid of him, I'll get rid of him. So that's a competition issue between them two. And we just haven't seen the competition in power from big brother to little brother. We always see the little brother trying to come up because the little brother feels like I got to prove myself. This is the reverse. Where the big brother's like, nah, you fucked up my business. I need to take this over from you. And if I got to prove to you exactly what I'm willing to do, I'm willing to take you out to make sure I get this back.
I absolutely agree. Yes, sir.
Okay, so here's the only part where I'll be a little contrary, but agree with you in some regard at the same time. So when Diamond came out, there was a lack of respect there. Whether or not he thought that Jannard was weak, I can't go as far to say that. But I do think that he didn't respect what he built up or what he was able to maintain and grow while he was locked up for 15 years. So I can't say that it's the same as the same dynamic as what's happening between between Ronnie, Unique, and Diamond and Jannard, because I do agree that yes, Ronnie looks at Unique as someone who is below him or weak in terms of how he's handling business because of how a lot of his territory was taken away from him by the Italians and even by Rock, right?
Yep.
And Ronnie doesn't even have a lot of the background information that we have in terms of him being set up by Rock, and with Kanan wearing his jacket and killing a cop or almost killing a cop. So he doesn't even have all of that background information, but he does view him as weak. And my question here is, why? You don't know all of the stuff that we know, so why do you think he's weak? He still has money coming in. He still has a hand in the game that you have built. And I think one of the things that Ronnie should have been questioning that he didn't question is, why aren't we changing with the times? And that's a credit to Diamond, right? Because Diamond is like, okay, how can we make the business grow? Where are your blind spots, Jannard, that you are not seeing? And that's where Tommy comes into play. We won't go.
That's the difference,
right? There's the difference there, but Ronnie is kind of stuck in his old ways, whereas he's still trying to sell heroin. And right now, the game is weed.
That's what I'm saying. 3 years just doesn't seem
plausible. It's not.
Yeah.
They said 10. I know I heard 10.
Yeah. I need
I'll
to
go rewatch it. But
yeah, do that and shut them folks down in the comments.
The 3 that they're talking about is he got out 3 days earlier than what he was supposed to get out. That's the
I know.
Again, we've seen both. We said in episode 1, 10 years. Someone came and corrected us and said, no, it is 3 years.
10 years
and I said,
he just got out 3 days.
And what's her name again? The costume designer. I've said it to her. No one corrected me, so I feel very confident in saying that I.
Wait, what did you say? Her name is Segay.
Segay? Thank you. When I interviewed her, I said the same thing about operating with. Obviously, you already have a lot of fun with working in the current year, but also you get to go back 10 years before that to then dress Ronnie, because a man out of time comes out of jail, and he wants to wear what he wants to wear. I mean, that was the whole conflict with the dudes. Like, what are you wearing, dude? And like, to be able to do that is fun. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like. 3 years anyway. We're like,
but again,
I know we're gonna go down a whole
beyond the year aspect for both. Well, if it's 10 years, how old is Unique?
Yeah, I ain't getting an answer from me on that.
I thought Unique was late 20s, early 30s.
Is he? Or is he supposed to be? How old is Rock supposed to be?
Rock is supposed to be her early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So then the Unique would have been 20 when he took over. So it would make more sense.
Around 19, 20.
Yeah, 19 or 20.
Yeah.
It would make more sense for the argument. But I think, to me, it's more of an issue of just Ronnie. It's a respect issue. It's that Ronnie feels that you shouldn't have let anyone take this from you.
Yeah.
Built a dynasty for you, and look what you did with it. Versus Diamond, who, in all honesty, you may don't fully respect Jannard, but you have to respect that he grew your business. Unique didn't grow anything, and I think that's the problem between them. Yeah. That's the best way to put it. But next up is Juke joining Butter. Such a 90s R&B name. Such a 90s R&B name. And she gets as Pebbles visits her and Marvin to inform them that Juke is part of the group now. And I'm gonna focus fully on the group here because I did love that scene. Yeah.
She was like, I'll get it.
Yeah.
And
he said, "But I'm
Marvin is
like
away or a couple noodles."
It's about you. You here because I joined the group? Why? What other reason would I be all the way out in Queens? Like, I ain't here for fun.
Like, why is it so extra?
Yeah.
But then let's talk about not only just Juke getting into the group, as she explains the group to Juke and Marvin, and then we meet the other girls in the group, and then we get the speech. What did you think about the setup of this? Did you think it was going to go down this path with Pebbles, or did you think it would be more wholesome? And I'm gonna start first with Keemie, because Keemie agrees with me that this is Pebbles, because I know Pebbles when I see Pebbles. So what did you think about just the building of the conversation before when she meets the woman at her house and she tells Juke that she's in the group? Then
what speech are you talking about, real quick? Are you talking about the speech where she's telling all the girls what it's going to be?
Oh, yes.
Okay, yeah, okay. Just making sure.
That speech. But but then, so what do you think just about the whole setup of the group, and then them telling her how they broke down the group, how she says she still wants Jukebox to be the tomboy of the group, left eye of the group.
The TLC.
And how everything went. Because if people didn't notice that they are modeling this group after TLC, man, y'all can't be missing that at all.
Man, I'm so impressed with myself.
Juke definitely burning some houses down in the near future. What was his name? Isaiah Ryder? Was that his name?
Andre Rison.
Andre Rison. There we go. They're both football players.
Isaiah Ryder played basketball.
You're right. Either
his
way,
wife is on
what
Real
a time to be
Housewives
alive.
right now. Also, his wife's on Real Housewives right now.
Yeah,
I mean Basketball Wives. I'm sorry, because he's in jail for something.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but go ahead, Keemie. What did you think about the way they set up Pebbles in this episode, and just about the group setup?
So the group setup, I'm actually pretty excited for this because last season I got pretty pissed off when Crown told her. He pretty much told her that she wasn't marketable, and I was like, hey, at this time, TLC was bubbling. So there definitely was a market for...
Crown has no credibility.
But there was definitely a market for tomboy-ish looking women in R&B at that time, because Mary was not too far removed, and she definitely came out with Comeback.
92, yeah.
Queen
and so did TLC. And then before, like, we still had MC Light, we still had Queen Latifah.
MC Light trending for a bad reason right now.
Later on, we get Aaliyah with the same thing. She came out as a tomboy.
I mean, granted,
like that was the look for women in the 90s. That was a sexy look.
For that, They did make it slightly sexy, because even with TLC, and even though it was tomboyish, they still had on sports bras and the top was open. We were still able to see some sort of physique. So I'm like, Crown is off his rocker with talking like this, right? But that was last season. So then when I saw this season that they introduced Pebbles, I was like, oh, we get TLC. This was the whole show.
Chill, man. Chill.
I was like, come on, Pebbles. I was like, oh, Pebbles is about to take all y'all money. Remember in Behind the Music when she was like, well, let's break it down. There are 100 points in an album. And Pebbles got 99 in them.
Surely but little, we're getting a 360 deal being formed right now. Or blood in and blood out. The death row deal.
Ain't no 360 deal, because you at least make something off of touring. With Pebbles, she even got an 80% cut of your tour. Like, you ain't nothing.
And Marvin, never missing an opportunity to never miss an opportunity, right? Doesn't even go through the contract with poor baby girl, right? And he just sitting there, just a cheesing, like, oh, so she will be in a room.
He's so happy for his baby. That's all. I'm so happy my baby made it.
Yeah.
But my baby about to get fucked. She about to be Teals. She about to be Tony Braxton. 10 million records later, you still broke. Like she.
Right. Well, she found a sugar daddy and baby, so it worked out some way.
So many of those young those young artists, man, all the same story. What was I don't know, our name's slipping out of my head right now.
Tomboy group.
Yeah.
Who you said? Total?
Yeah.
Well, Total come out to what, 95, 96? So
Yeah.
But I mean, in that same, just how long the tomboy period went for R&B women. Like, it was a known thing. That's what made them sexy, is because they were tomboys. Like, they could be one of the guys, but they could still look good. Like TLC, we didn't know they were sexy till Creep came out.
Yes, and they still had on baggy clothes.
Yeah, they had on pajama sets.
Yes.
That's a fact.
They had on.
The only thing I was going to really quickly add was just Juke's audition did not have me at all convinced that this was going to be the result. So when I was like, "Oh snap! Who would have thought?" So I definitely little cheer for young Juke being able to get in the game here. So yeah, that's my thoughts. You already explained a lot.
I think it was based. I think she got it based off of her look, solely off of her look. They know she can sing because they also got a demo tape beforehand, so they knew she could sing.
Right.
I think it was the look. Because again, Pebble says it. I was looking to form a group, and each girl needed to fit a slot.
Yeah.
And Juke fits the tomboy slot.
Yeah.
And she that's perfect. I need a tomboy.
Yeah.
Because, back in the 90s, it wasn't necessarily about you blowing them away with an audition. It was about, do you look the part?
Yeah.
This is how we build groups here.
Yeah, because how many groups have 3 strong singers? 1, maybe? And that's Destiny's Child that easily comes to mind. But
wait, you said 3 strong singers, and then you say Destiny's Child? I'm gonna need you to name me 2 others.
Huh?
Yes, I said it. Well, I'm sorry, 1 other.
Oh, hold on.
1 other, not 2 other. I said 1 other is what I meant.
And Jukebox mother can still sing, and so could Latavia. They could definitely harmonize. And
Latavia was on reality TV trying to hit notes with Whitney Williams, and that shit did not go well.
Well, Beyonce bitch said Shorty was tone deaf, so listen. I'm not gonna have this argument with y'all. I'm not gonna do it.
I know I'm with you, but that's just funny for him to be thinking about that.
At the time, they all could sing, and they all had different. In Vogue could sing.
Oh, Escape. I'm sorry, Escape. That was a group.
Oh, Escape.
And it's early 90s.
I'll give you Escape. I'll give you Escape. Yeah, I'll give you Escape.
That was early 90s too.
That's it though.
It came out like 92.
Wait, so
that's it.
In Vogue.
Oh yeah, In Vogue definitely.
Yeah.
They didn't have a bunch of stars, but they had women who could sing.
Hell yeah. They were awesome. So, but whatever, keep going.
I mean, and you got a lot of those folks being brought up in the church, deep Atlanta roots. So yeah, okay, I guess. In Vogue, Escape, Destiny's Child, 3 groups.
You said In Vogue. Brownstone, Michael Jackson found them.
No.
You can hate on what you want to, dog.
Next.
You going back there. That's what that
Wait, hold on. Wait, let's think of one more. 702. Wait, you don't think the girls in 702 could sing?
I got
his face says no.
No. No.
Did you see his face? His face was a quick no.
No, we brought them up last week too, by the way. No.
But I mean,
separately, no.
Let me think of somebody else.
Look at you can find another.
Jade.
Who?
Jade.
Yeah. See, I know Jade. It's a real thing.
No, that's Janae.
I know. Oh damn it, that's Jade. I thought. Am I thinking the same group? So then Jade can't sing. Janae can sing.
Janae can sing. Jade could sing. Remember, don't walk away.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
How many females was in El DeBarge? In DeBarge, I'm sorry.
Also, yeah.
Atlantic Star. Was it just one woman in there? Too?
What was it? CoverGirl. How many? Remember them?
Jones Girls. All of them can sing. Like, I know we going back now. We have lost track of them.
Okay, hold on. Let's get back to power. Hold on.
You know what's funny though? A lot of men's group had multiple singers in their group. Multiple.
Early 90s or the mid 90s?
80s and 90s.
All right, let's go. Keep moving.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of them too. I'm trying to, because Jodeci had 2.
Public Announcement 1.
Yeah, Shy had 1. H-Town had 1. Silk had 1. Like,
wait, Silk Boys to Men had 2.
Then,
yeah, Wanye and Sean. Because the other dude with the glasses didn't really sing.
How many did Jagged Edge have? Did
they
just the two main twins singing. That was it. 112, same thing. They had 2.
112, yeah, you're right.
Could sing.
Yeah, it is hard. It is not a male group outside of, and y'all gonna hate us, outside of the Backstreet Boys, where you had 5 members that could actually sing.
Nobody in the Backstreet Boys could sing.
Pretty Ricky.
You lost your mind. You you don't really lost your goddamn mind.
None of them people can sing.
Drew
Hill. What about Drew Hill?
Drew Hill, absolutely.
Oh yeah, Cisco and Woody.
Cisco, Woody, and what's the name?
And Nokia could actually sing.
Nokia. There you go.
Songs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other one can sing. Jazz can sing too. All of them sang.
Oh, see, I'm thinking of Jazz. Woody's the one who did one song and then he left
Woody
the group.
did one song.
And he became a gospel singer.
Yeah.
I would have never been able to fact check that, but you're entirely right. Hey
man, I grew up loving Drew Hill. Drew Hill was my favorite R&B group ever. So, I'm always gonna remember.
So my favorite.
I tell the people all the time that they're better than Jodeci.
Really? Nah,
yes. Y'all just like Jodeci because Jodeci came out first, but they did not have better songs.
When we stopped doing this, I had to tell y'all a crazy story about Cisco. and why I cannot stand Ricky Martin because of it. You know Cisco never got paid for the thong song?
No, because he sampled 84 songs for the thong song.
I
know that story. I know that story.
That he sampled. You know, whether he sampled 84 or not, it is the "Livin' La Vida Loca" line.
Yes. You gotta pay for that.
That was all on that MTV special like a while ago, and they brought that up.
Not only that, that's the same thing that T-Pain brought up when he did "Buy You a Drink," and he says, "I have not made a single dime out for that song because snap your fingers." He said, "I got to pay all that money go right to Little John." He said, "I don't make a dime off of that song."
I know that.
Yeah, he was very adamant recently about that and said, "I don't make a dime off
on
of
the
that
Twitch stream or something." I know that. I never heard that.
He got a podcast. T-Pain has a podcast. He talks about it. But let's get back into it.
Let's keep going.
I swear. Next up, Kanan talks to Paul, who is his courier business partner, quickly just about the business. Not much here to bring up, except for Paul bringing up that my couriers are stopped delivering packages for me because they're going to make more money for you. And the ones who don't want to deliver for you are terrified because of the business that you put them in. As we see here, Kanan just pays him off and tells him this will hold you over for a minute. But we clearly see here that Kanan, again, lacks the business acumen to make this successfully work for him and his partner. So any thoughts there? It's not a big scene. It's just in the scene to show that Kanan is Kanan.
Yeah, just what we covered earlier. Just like he didn't think all of this through.
After that, we get Juke and Marvin talking to Zach. We already talked about Pebbles, so we already know where that went to. Rock spying on Kanan as she goes to Kanan's apartment, but at the same exact time, we see the feds are following and spying on Rock. This is just the point where she plants the gun on Kanan. But let's focus on the beginning part of that. And it's something that it seems like Rock is oblivious to, as we saw also at the end of last episode with her. The feds are watching everything that Rock is doing. taking pictures of everything she's doing. This would leads me to believe that they already know the Crown story is falling apart.
Yeah.
What are you all piecing together about this and about Rock being so oblivious that they are following her?
Yeah, the paranoia is not high enough, but it ain't gonna be but a matter of time before they got her back in for questioning or some sort. So it's for us, the viewers, to understand that they didn't just bring her in or arrest her just out of nowhere. So we got to kind of see this, and she's not as sharp. Well, I'm not gonna say she's not sharp. Her priorities is shifted to Kanan instead of what's happening around her, and also think there's a level of ignorance because maybe she's like, I'm out of the game, so I am hands clean of everything. Well, not really. As I mentioned, the stink still follows. So either she gets arrested or questioned, but that story, the Crown story, they will absolutely try to get any fault in it, any crack in it.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, what's interesting is they actually may not actually be trying to go after her as their top person outside of their priority and possibly wanting Howard. Internal Affairs is definitely on the steps. That's a big deal. And they've been asking particular questions to him too about, I had to watch it a couple of times, but they'd asked him, what's the deal with your shooting? I was like, what are they talking about? Are they talking about Burke? No, they're not. They're talking about his case of him being shot. What's been the word of that? So there's definitely a lot of different little things that's kind of going on, which leads me to think that maybe they want to try to see if they can find another crack in the story. And ultimately, is it Howard or is it Rock? Is it both? Is it the entire family? Either way, all those folks that's involved now, the feds, that is, they're looking to get somebody's.
No, I don't have anything to counter with. I think that you that you hit it on the head. I just think that she's not paranoid because she's already told Howard that it doesn't matter if they're looking at her, because he did warn her that the feds are looking at her, that they are surveilling her. She says there's nothing for them to see. So that's why she doesn't care if they're taking pictures of her, because she did spot them. She saw the van. She knows that they're watching. So she doesn't feel like she needs to watch her back per se, because she's not doing anything, and she really isn't. So I guess that's why she doesn't have a hypersensitivity to them being around.
And next up, we get Kanan as he takes Jukebox out to celebrate. It looks like either Nobu Catch or Sizzler, because that was big back in the 90s. Longhorn, that was big in the 90s. I don't know where they went to where macaroni and cheese in 91 cost $20. Because that's fucking ridiculous.
That just killed me. That just killed me. I might be done for the night on comments.
Hey, you know, back in the day, back in the 90s, you thought you was hot shit, you went to Sizzler. But here we just see them, and we see a nice conversation, a sweet conversation between Jukebox and Kanan. And Kanan bringing up, like, my fear was always that someone would take you away from me. And for her to tell him, no one could ever take you away from me. And this, to me, plays on their relationship in the future and why they are the way that they are. Any quick thoughts on this scene at all, besides what restaurant they went to? Because I'm still confused.
I will quickly say, I love how Juke appreciate the fine things. Juke likes a nice outfit. She likes to be wine and dine a little bit. She likes some affirmations. I love how Juke be very tomboyish, very much like tough, but she always can be buttered up a little bit. So I was happy that she got a win here. Got a nice meal with her cousin.
You ready for me then?
Yeah, go for it. I'm ready for you. Keemie's like, now where I want to go is, I'm listening.
No. Like I said, like every time I learn more and more about her, it just breaks my heart even more because I know what at the end.
Yeah.
But I'm glad. I love their little moments. Like I one of the other moments that they had where I really appreciated it was where they were watching Cooley High, Remember when they were on the couch and Cochise
Yeah.
dies and he's
Hey
crying?
man, I still can't watch Cooley High to this day. Nope.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
And
appreciate
then that is so hard at the
Is
end.
that on
I
is that on
lose it every
4K
time.
anywhere? I'm out to buy that.
I will
And then
never watch Cooley High again in my
put
life.
that in my
I
Amazon.
don't
That's
feel
a
like
minute.
crying. That and Cornbread Earl and Me is another. I can't watch those movies under no circumstance.
Yeah. Mm.
Next up, we get Marvin confronting Lulu, one about missing Juice audition. But here's also where Lulu brings up an opportunity to Marvin for him to help him possibly invest in what I'm going to call the chateau. I don't really know the name of it.
The
Or Natalie's.
chateau.
It's going to be Natalie's.
Now you
Natalie's
really need to
off of New York.
log off.
It's Natalie's off of New York Undercover.
Cafe Voss. Cafe Voss.
Okay. Yeah, Cafe Voss. Natalie's off of New York Undercover. What did you all just think about this here with the brothers as we see just how, again, we understand how close they are. And we understand the work that Marvin is doing to make sure he keeps a relationship with both of his siblings here. But also Lulu bringing Marvin into his world. And I'm not just going to focus on this initial meeting. We're also going to talk about what happens after they get to the club and after they talk about investing in the club, down to at the end when Marvin's a go with it and him attempting to possibly think this could be a perfect stash spot. And we see Lulu's face as he begs him, no, please keep this club clean. I need this club to be clean. Doing drugs and stuff, that's Rock's thing. I don't want it here. So what did you just think about the totality of all these things between Marvin and Lulu and the club, and possibly we're finally seeing Lulu breaking out from Rock's shadow to do something that he truly wants to do? Keemie? Yes, you
Queen.
first.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if you wanted me to go first or if you wanted Dejere to go first.
She's like, permission to speak.
No, because
she ain't home. We ain't got time for this, Keemie. You home?
No.
Out here still asking where stuff at in the cabinet. Now go get it.
Here we go. Yeah, right. Okay, so one, I think Lou is a little naive to think that the drugs wouldn't move through the club. Like, that's the main reason why Marvin wants to go in with this, because he's looking for a place for it to go. But I mean, we see that that's probably a short-lived dream, but we'll get to that later. But I think it's kind of naive of him to even ask him not to do it, because before it was Rock's thing, it was Marvin's thing. And I kind of find it funny that they just attribute it all to Rock. And like, hey, it's Marvin too, because Marvin is still the older brother. And although we kind of look at them in a hierarchy as it being Rock first and then Marvin, he's still pulling his weight and he's still dealing, right? Like, because Dean is his supplier. No? I'm bugging?
I mean, just go back to the first season. Rock only took over because Marvin got hooked on drugs.
Right. And that's it. And so it's still his business and he's still a part of it and he's still working his way back in. But whatever the case is, I can appreciate why Lou wants to separate himself from this, especially with all of the loss that they have sustained over this time period. We don't know how long. I keep saying it's 1991. Some people say it's 1992. Some people don't even know when it's happening. They just say the 90s, right? But we don't know how long it's happening. And he has gone through a lot. They had to kill Scrap. He killed D-Wiz, to which that was crazy that she made him do that. And he just doesn't want to be a part of it. And I get it. If he wants to live in a world where he can just consume his music and just live a clean life, I get it. And this club may be the perfect outlet for him to do so. It may be short-lived, but I like the peace that it brings.
Yeah.
Between at least them two, right? So at least he still has his brother. Whether or not he'll be able to rekindle a relationship with his sister remains to be seen, but at least he still has some sort of bonding element between something that he loves and someone that he loves, meaning his brother, and music.
Yeah, I just say like no bad blood and establishing boundaries within the siblings. So I think it's just cool to see Marvin still trying to navigate between the two of them in a way to keep the peace, as you mentioned, and so on. So it's impressive. Therapy's working.
There you go. And here, let's close out Unique and Rock. As Unique goes back over Rock's place again. This time she's not cooking eggs, which I thought was pasta the first time for some odd reason, because who the fuck cooks eggs at night? But just eggs, not like sausage, French toast. She just cooked eggs and ate them like that was a great dinner. But
she's in impeccable shape. That's how she keeps it. So.
That's why, because you only eat eggs. Like, what other shape could you be in if you only eat eggs? But we see as they meet and they talk, one about Unique's business, two about Ronnie, but also here is where Rock lays down the law to Unique that they can't be together. And this is after she just staring at him with his pants hanging down low and a gun in his waistband of her saying, I can no longer be around this. And I can no longer have you around me and my son. So what do you think about this? Again, these moves that Rock is making to attempt her best to stay clean. Keemie.
Y'all didn't think that was a bit abrupt?
Oh, extremely.
I was like,
because that's an odd way you come to that. Like you didn't know who he was beforehand.
Yeah, like, okay, so for 3 whole episodes, y'all was cool with doing the do on the island, in your bedroom, wherever y'all go, and he's been in your house. And now all of a sudden you just saying Kanan is gonna come back, so you gotta go.
All right. Well. Listen. Let me defer to my partner here. Historically speaking, and when I say historically speaking, I mean I don't know, an hour ago, 10 minutes ago, a second ago. There's some man in America experiencing this same level of inconsistency in 2023, 2024, 1991, 1967. It's the same shit of like, what has changed on my end that all of a sudden I walk into a whole new scenario as if we wasn't just kicking it just a few minutes ago. To me, I'm baffled that Rock is doing this, but at the same time, like, well, that's not a surprise. Black men don't cheat. That's my statement.
What are you talking about?
What he's saying is that women tend to flow like the river. So 1 minute the river moves one way, the next it moves the other way.
You
as a man,
referring to something. What are you talking
about?
I'm just referring to just like when you talk about it being when it being abrupt like that, like it kind of was like, wait, what? But I was like, oh well, yeah. I'm just surprised it's this Rock that's doing that.
From a male perspective, it wasn't surprising. Let's just say it that way. Like it was more like, damn, but yeah, it makes sense. Like one day she cool, one day she like, yeah, this was fun, but I don't want to do this no more.
But then he goes, okay, but one more time. I was like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And she agreed to it. And that's what normally happens.
Now, if anybody's looking for spoilers here, let me just predict the future. Now, while Unique has made peace with the one last time, I guarantee Rock throws it at him. And he is going to be like, and then she gets obviously offended by it. And that's going to start to be the demise of their working relationship.
But also, what you got to keep in mind with Rock, remember, the gun is odd that triggers her, but it triggers her because of
the gun thing is
she had just
odd.
witnessed everything with Kanan. So she's seeing Kanan going down the path,
You're
and
right.
she's like,
you're right.
Oh man, I cannot be around this. If I'm gonna get this boy back here, and he can't be around you because you're a bad influence on him.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. Like, I gotta cut you loose. Where's Symphony? Like, I need someone who could teach my boy how to read and not to hold the gun. Like, I can't have you around here. So yes, and then she makes the obvious woman decision, which is, yeah, this ain't gonna work for me no more. I still love and care for you, but we could do it one more time. It don't matter if you knock the sonic rings out of me. This is gonna be it. It's gonna be one time and we're done. Like, oh, but next up, we're gonna finish it, close out. We only got 3 more to talk about here. And next up is Ronnie on his Fuck Unique World Tour. As next up, he visits as Keemie called her a pilgrim. He visits Juliana and her cousin. As
Pilgrim
he
is
attempts-
wild.
It's a wild.
It's not, now I feel good because I said something wild on Force, and I think this definitely topped that. So thank you, Keemie. I appreciate you.
As he attempts to partner with Juliana and her cousin to get product. And here again, he's rejected as he's told his brother is the issue here. So again, we've talked about it before. We understand that Ronnie's a hater here at this point. He's doing whatever. Here, I'm way more interested in, and I'm gonna start with Keemie here. What did you think about the look between Juliana and Ronnie? Because that look wasn't no look of saying, we not selling to you. That look was saying, come get some, and then you can come get some.
That look was saying, we both don't like Unique.
Yeah, we both don't like Unique, but I'm very interested in your prison
Both
muscles.
don't like Unique. Come see about me later.
Prison
That's what that look was saying.
muscles.
Oh my gosh. I don't like what's going on here. Can I just be upfront and say that? Like,
Yeah.
I don't like what's going on here. I don't even like that she still got a beef with Unique.
Rock.
I'm like,
Unique,
no,
everybody.
Pilgrim Shorty.
Yeah, she got beef with Rock too. Remember, she threatened to
She
kill
got
Rock.
beef
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
Rock too, but I'm like, she got beef with Rock because Rock went and worked with Unique. And she's mad
And-
because Unique held her up. I'm like, you gotta respect the jokes. Like, that's just what was gonna happen. Listen, now we gotta work together, and that's just it. You know it. Now all of a
She
sudden,
went from
you
a
become-
cleaning lady. She went from a cleaning lady to Griselda Blanco
well, she's
within
not,
3
she
weeks.
wasn't the cleaning lady. She just used to own the corner store.
No,
with
that's
her
what I mean.
husband.
She was just in a relevant person, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden she's
And then
Griselda.
she's Griselda Blanco. So
Literally
I
happened
don't-
in 3 weeks.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I just one day she was behind the counter, and the next day,
definitely hard to believe anything about that character.
Wait.
Anything.
like the way
Rock gave her a glow up that is ridiculous. Rock out here changing lives.
she just to be the bitch that she bought cigarettes from, and now all of a sudden she run everything. So I don't understand what's happening here, and I don't.
It's like when you have an intern and you're the manager, and all of a sudden that motherfucker gets promoted, and you're like, "How the fuck are you over me now?" That's her.
That's literally
She's
what's happening.
she's the white man in the room in this situation.
It's clearly at play.
Exactly.
I'll never say this, but Juliana gotta go. She gotta go. I'm done. I'm just done with her for no reason. Just unbelievable promotion. Like, call it whatever you want. Call it hating, whatever. Just she gotta go. But to your point, that look definitely had the look of an enemy of an enemy is my friend.
Yes.
So.
All right, now quickly, let's run through this last one so we can get out of here, as this is now the longest review we've ever done. Well, not the longest, but close to it. But next up is Kanan getting searching school, as we already brought it up. This is when they find a weapon on him. This is when Rock act like she is so surprised that her son would ever have a weapon on him, and she is so disappointed in him. She put on, if Patina don't get an award for anything else, I need them to nominate, not even Patina, I need you to nominate Rock for Emmy for the performance she puts on in this school. Not even Patina, because Rock puts on the performance here. Why would I believe you, Kanan? I love when she talks fast too. Why would I believe you, Kanan? You and your gun. Who gun is it then? It's in your book bag.
This scene killed me. I ain't gonna even lie. This scene killed me. I watched this scene probably like 3 or 4 times. This joint killed me.
Nah,
Oh
Kanan
man.
face. He was so outraged. He was like, "That's not." Marvin, like a kid, like even when like you're fighting with your little cousins or something happens and they lie on you, like if they broke something and you know you didn't do it, and everybody else believe them because of something else that you probably did from a long time ago. It's like,
Yeah.
Also,
I was that little brother blaming the older sibling. So yes, I know. I saw that look plenty of times.
Also, this scene fake as hell. This is the 90s. There ain't no way she come in that joint. Had to take time off work to come up here with your ass and then yank him out of that room by his ear, dragging him across that parking lot.
Yeah, Rocking got a real job.
Hey, well, no, I ain't put no angry black woman in there.
If my mama, she had to catch the bus down there. I knew I was getting my ass whipped the moment she got there, Joe. It wasn't a doubt about it either. I would say, call my father, call my uncle, call somebody. Don't call that woman down here. Save me, please. Save me.
Hey, you know what's funny? You know what's so funny? Administrators back in the day had the nerve to ask us who do we want them to call, and they would lie every single time. Like, please don't call her. Don't call her. Like, all right, we won't call her. Next thing you know,
I go even further. I'll go even further, and I can snitch on my mother because she old, so it don't matter now. And fuck the school district who did this. They used to have beat you rooms. They used to say, my mother would come down there, and they used to say, "Oh, you want to take him to a room? Take him to that room. You can beat him in there and come back here." What? What? You doing this to me? I used to get beat in an empty classroom and then have to come back and sit down in front of them for them to tell me I did something wrong.
And you better not cry.
You better not cry.
You better fix that face. You better fix your face.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh.
Except after this, all we get is a scene where Kanan is back home. His room is blue, and I'm assuming it looks like a prison cell, so it's supposed to signify like he's back in the place where he feels he has no escape from.
Reach.
It looked like a little blue prison cell. That's all it looked like.
It's blue. It's nice.
It was a nice prison cell, but it was prison blue.
Can we talk about the Jordans that he had on, please? What year did that come out?
I didn't even see.
What did I say at the beginning when I said the sneakers are the issue?
What were they? I didn't even see.
The sneakers give away so much in this episode and in this show, really. I think Kanan's had on 6s at one point in time.
Yes,
he had on 3s at one point in time. Like they bounced him around. He had on 8s, I think, at one point in time too, didn't he?
Ain't no way he had on 8s.
No, he didn't.
I think he had the double strap 8s on.
No, he did not.
I swear.
You rarely see 8s. Period. I saw somebody with the 8s yesterday, but you rarely see 8s out.
Some jokes just came out.
Hold on,
Me too. Well, there must have been an awkward because I was like, where did he? I know he ain't had these jokes on. I still have the OGs. Boom. But yeah, I never see the 8s on TV like that unless it's the Buzz Bunnies and that was
Martin
Jordan.
had them jokes on all the time.
Yeah, that's different. Martin and Corey.
Martin and Fresh Prince.
Boy Meets World.
Oh,
man,
yeah.
Corey loved those the rare 8s. But let's close this out, and I have a serious question to close this out, as we're going to close out on Ronnie Myers here with Dean, as it was kind of foreshadowed what was going to happen.
Oh man,
as we get Dean at home with his grandmother, as he gets her hearing aid together, and he goes to change out batteries. Somehow, Ronnie Myers is coming up the stairs from his basement. And then, beautifully, they gave us the perfect Halloween shot of just his hand reaching for the knife, knowing that he's about to kill Dean. So, I'm going to ask 2 questions here for both of you all. And Keemie, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
First, what did you think about the way they set up this kill of Dean? Well, I'm going to ask 3 questions. 2, do you think this was a worthy exit for this character? And the final question is, what the fuck was Grandma laughing at on that television when she did not have a hearing aid to hear anything in her ear?
Oh, you're going.
I want to know.
I was like, was she laughing? She can't. But
because if you can hear that, you should be able to hear the guy dying behind you.
Okay, that's the point. I give you that one. About to say. Keemie's done.
So
Nah, they wildin'. They definitely wildin'. But
I was like, okay, maybe she had on closed caption because
I looked at the TV. It was not on there. No words was going across that screen. She was just laughing.
wait, did they show the
She was
TV
laughing.
screen?
Yes. Yeah, they showed the TV screen. There was no closed caption. She was just laughing. And I said, wait, she can't hear that.
Hold on.
Is she
Dog.
like looking at them laughing?
Hold on, time out, flag on the play. Hold on, wait. I think because so full transparency, I've only watched the episode once, and that scene when he started poking him up with the knife, I think I was so just like, Ronnie, no, don't do this, Ronnie. I did not see that they went back to the TV screen.
They panned to grandma and they panned slowly
So
to the
I know
television.
they panned to her, and she was kind of like sitting on the chair. And for whoever is just listening and not watching, because this is released in audio form too, right?
Yes.
Okay. She's rocking back and forth in an armchair, and she's like laughing like this. So that's the part that I saw.
I'm quickly looking at it. It is not closed caption, but she was watching Supermarket. What's it called? Supermarket. Yes, which is funny without words. So
okay,
we'll
so
get
she
with it.
was probably just egging them on because she's trying to get them to like run through the aisles because there's no talking.
Yeah,
but she was laughing.
Okay.
Supermarket.
She was laughing. She's definitely laughing
with no sound.
All right, but whatever the case is, I think that this was a worthy scene for Dean because we see that Ronnie is a formidable adversary at this point.
Yes.
Like he pretty much rearranged someone's cranial cavity with a car door, and how he got in the house without anyone hearing him, I have no idea. How he got in the house, period. How he even knows where Dean lives. Another question that Power always sums with.
Stalker. Top tier stalker. He found everybody's address.
Does he have a tracker? What was happening in the 90s?
It is 91. There's not a GPS in sight.
There's not a GPS. We're still writing things down at this time. But in terms of Dean going out, I wonder why they needed to kill this Dean character off. Like I always think about that. Like in terms of story, what was Dean not doing for the story that they felt the need to kill him off? I always think about stuff like that.
His death becomes impactful. They needed an impactful person that you knew to kill off, and you knew just enough to understand who Dean was to help boost who Ronnie will become.
Okay, good. Okay, so then then when I came to my conclusions, I was like, okay, everybody else wouldn't touch Dean, right? Because we knew Rock didn't go after him.
Yeah.
Marvin didn't. Unique didn't either. So Ronnie is the only one crazy enough to do it.
Yep.
And now that kind of messes things up with Marvin now, doesn't it?
Could, yeah. I mean, word's going to get around town. For me, I'll just quickly say that I love that they're going full blown Michael Myers. Like, so they're just having fun now, shooting some of these scenes like a horror film. Like they're just fooling. But I think it is still a lot to kind of make with Ronnie because after the kill, he's not completely unhinged because he didn't kill the grandma. So he makes sure his depths, should he say, is very strategical and not just completely unhinged. Even to the point that he even tidied up when he left, making sure things are in place. This
nigga fixed the what's it called, an Afghan? The one on the little table on the table, that's called an Afghan, right?
No, it's called the
what is it called?
It's called I know what it is.
Straight that motherfucker up on the table, which is very odd to me. You just murdered him. Like I'm pretty sure she's not gonna say, oh my God, you killed my grandson, but thank God.
But that's the thing though. It's some serial killers always have a type of unique personality to what they do, and it seems like we're seeing one who clearly doesn't have a problem with killing anybody at any rate, but it needs to be neat, needs to be clean. You know, you need to make sure the the location look presentable, and whether it's just his time in jail or whether that's just his MO, I don't know. But he's an interesting character, and I think we're just going to continue to want to watch him throughout the season to see what's next. And he's only getting started, so at this point now, I don't think there was any more story to be told with Dean. So good riddance. On that note, I didn't really have a care in any direction with this character right now, but I do agree that him killing somebody who was deemed sort of untouchable.
Yeah.
Ronnie had other plans.
Clearly.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts on episode 4 in Sheep's Clothing?
I really liked this episode. I wasn't sure how it was going to go because of all of the... Because episode 3, normally in every season, episode 3 is always going to set up what we're going to see throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting for 4 to have such a bang at the end that it did. Because normally the next episode that has a really big bang is episode 5 or whatever episode that's gonna lead before we take a break. So if there's ever a break in between episodes, always know that there is something big that's gonna happen. So just in case you guys don't know what the power rubric is by now, 3, you get the setup. 4, we get more explaining. 5, if there's a break after it, there's something big that's going to happen. So remember, in Force, in season 2, episode 5, remember we get Papa Flynn, who is killed by Vic, and then there's a break. And whenever there is a break, I think we did that in the last season, one of the last seasons of the original Power 2, where that's where Proctor got killed, and then we had a little break after that. And so it's never like a huge character, but it is one of the main cast, and then something happens to them. So look out for that.
Yeah, no comments here. This is a long ass recap here. So
we had fun.
So we
argued about
we'll be back
about Brownstone, Destiny's Child.
We can edit all of that out.
Like we talked about everything humanly possible. Pebbles, who we can't wait to see more of in this season. Pilgrims. We even had Pilgrims show up in this episode. Like, this is amazing.
Nah, it's all good to be back weekly. Now that we got through our first little batch and all the stuff in New York at the premiere and whatnot. So yeah, let's just get back to it, and we'll be back next week doing what we do.
Nice. It has been a pleasure talking to both of you.
Here she go. She getting ready to say something that's going to be just completely irrelevant. Anyway, I'll close the show. I'll close the show before Keemie says anything. I was just
saying it was nice talking to you guys. Have a good night, everybody.
Oh, okay. Just make that's to the audience. Don't be saying. I thought she was about to say, "Thank you so much for having me on the show this week. It was such a fun." Anywho, just to make this very clear, happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
The three of us, this trio, will be back next week. Again, we got episode 305 next week, Brothers and Keepers. Everybody's information is in the description below. That way you can keep up here with us at Big O Belt Media, as well as Ventures with Keemie over at Private Listen.
Private Listed and Chronicles of Power.
Like I don't know what she is. You better have my scripts right. You better say my stuff. I got you. Then be having just strangers show up on the show and don't know where they came from and where they got to go afterwards. Anywho, you all let us know in the comments your thoughts about episode 304. Anything we missed, anything that you all are predicting for next week's upcoming episode. And as we do always, we'll be back with more power, content, reviews, recap, interviews, all that other good stuff real soon. Thank you all for hanging out with us for 2 hours and 24 minutes.
Welcome back.
Peace out, everybody.